my dollars make it hurt.
Welcome back to the iTutor Show. That's right, I have rebranded myself because I've been doing a major shift, a major strategic shift in my business. When is the good time to rebrand your company or maybe even your personal brand? And that's when you're doing a shift in your business. Maybe you're expanding the markets, you're trying to reach a new demographic, or maybe you're going about it in a different way than you have before. Typically, companies rebrand every 5 to 10 years because trends change and the economy changes and you have to evolve with it. And that's exactly what I've been doing this past year. The reason why I've paused is because I've been making a strategic shift. I went from someone that was doing consulting for small businesses and personal brands, doing marketing and advertising primarily through social media outlets, to someone that's now working with companies that are looking to franchise across nationally and even internationally. And it's been quite the big transition, and I've learned a lot of cool things along the way. So I wanted to make this video to speak a little bit about why I made that transition and some of the cool things I learned in that path. When I was doing advertising and marketing for small businesses or personal brands, what I found is that no matter how good the copy was, or the customer journey, or the funnel sequencing, if the brand was built really shallow, and what I mean by that is literally hiring someone off of Fiverr, people didn't really trust putting in their credit card on a website that just felt cheap. What I found is that oftentimes I would have to hire graphic designers to revamp their brand, make it a little more fresh, more up to date. But what I found is that the work ended up being very disjointed, because think about it. If you have to hire a graphic designer for the logo and then somebody else that's never worked with this person to do the UI UX design, and then introduce another web developer, now you have 3 different people or maybe more that have never had a culture of working together. The end result ends up looking very choppy. I started to kind of shift towards working with a branding agency because I really wanted to create a unified brand so that the ad copy, the advertising, the whole marketing effort actually would convert a lot higher. Because think about it. Let's use the McDonald's example. When you see the 2 French fries put together, it just kind of makes sense of what it represents. And of course, they spent millions of dollars, on their advertising. But because there's been enough research and development into developing the visuals, when you see it, it just makes sense, it resonates, you trust it, you feel good, it entices a certain emotion because the brand has a certain personality. There's many factors to why you resonate with a brand on a subconscious level. And that's research and development before even the pen hits the sketchbook. It's really worth investing in the brand because when you run the advertising, guess what? You don't have to show it so many more times to be trustable. And what that means is that it converts a lot higher. So you're actually spending a lot less money on the advertising effort because the brand is already built so well. That's why I transitioned into partnering with a branding agency, because now the success of these marketing campaigns is a lot wider. I went from kind of a solopreneur to maybe contracting a few people to now working with an entire agency that has a film production division, you have a marketing division, advertising division, the design, development. You have such a vast team and resources that you could work with that you could truly create something phenomenal and timeless. So I basically became a brand director at Evolve Branding. And it's funny because I found my skill set from almost over a decade ago of knocking on doors and building, relationships with people. It's something that transitioned later on in my career. I think people just forget to be human in business relationships because there's a dollar transaction happening. I'm in the business of building trust and building rapport and connecting with the other human being. And that's really what increases that trust level and comfortability to really invest in their dream, because it's a delicate subject. And I have to admit, it was quite difficult for me to not be that strategist because I have been for such a long time. But what I found is that if I just leverage marketing directors that have been doing this for 30 years, designers that are world-class, that created award-winning campaigns, if I leverage that, guess what? Now I've stretched the budget from $5,000 to $50,000, $100K plus, depending if you're going more into mainstream media. So I just found I was way more equipped with the resources to really do something right on a bigger scale in a way that could really make an impact. So that's just a little bit more about my journey, transitioning from advertising social media consulting agency to working with a fully built branding agency. I've just been really fulfilled in the terms of impact that I'm able to make, because I really feel that branding is a responsibility to give a mission a voice. So it's a big job, but it's absolutely worth doing it right, because you can actually measure the ROI of your brand. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that in my next video on how do you actually measure the ROI of your brand. So I'm really looking forward to sharing a little bit more about my experience as brand director and what I've learned in this transitioning from kind of that social media advertising approach to more of a branding overall approach that just makes the advertising campaign that much more efficient. So I'm really excited to share all this cool stuff that I've been learning with you guys. Please tune in to my next show where I'm going to talk about brand ROI. I look forward to catching up with you there.